Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Final Girl unboxing. This is Into the Void, starring the Evomorph and featuring the USS Konrad. So this is obviously an Aliens homage. So yeah, we're gonna definitely hop in this and see what goes on in here. This should be interesting. So we do have, just as always, a reminder for these videos, this is an expansion box. You do need the core box to play this. Then once you have that, you can mix and match any of the killers and locations for various gameplay. So let's go ahead and hop in and see what's all in here. Overview before we jump in this. So we're going to have the unfolding part of the case, which has the Evomorph. We'll look at their different stuff there. Then in the Evomorph set, we will of course have their Finale and Dark Power cards. The two Final Girls. Some brand new action cards, which are always fun. A set of tokens. A tracker, which is something neat, new for the killers sometimes. An evolution deck. Card and a deck that goes with them, and the terror set cards. Their symbol in the bottom corner, which is the egg. Then, if we take the case, we flip over with our handy-dandy magnetic box here. We have the USS Konrad. So we got our spaceship. Ooh, some new symbols there. We'll get into those a little bit later. We will have our setup and event cards, like always. We'll have two sheets of tokens. Some interesting things there going on. There's some brand new cards called Maintenance for this set. Deck of item cards. And of course their terror cards with their symbol on the bottom as well. And finally, the last thing we'll always have are our two secret envelopes, which we will talk about later in the video, which we'll remind for a spoiler for people that don't want to know what are in these. So let's go ahead and jump into this set and see what we got. So we have, all aboard the USS Konrad. It's kill or be killed when you're being hunted in space. The Evomorph will evolve over the course of the game and feature vanishing mechanic where it will disappear only to return when you least expect it. Or perhaps, if you plan it right, into a well-laid ambush. The USS Konrad introduced key cards that will be used to access different parts of the ship. Will you kill your foe the old-fashioned way, self-destruct the ship and escape, or perhaps you'll try to airlock the killer into the void? Interesting. Just to put it, so it's obviously aliens sneaking around the ship, but when it's like, oh, it's gonna disappear, and then come back, my first thought was like, oh, it's Among Us. We gotta find the killer in the Among Us universe. Which would be very, very hilarious, like, if they make, like, a jokey or Easter egg one. But that'd be, like, maybe, like, a cooperative version of this game. Have a cooperative version where you don't know who the killer is with a traitor mechanic, right? And have someone be the, that'd be fun. Alright, so we have Evomorph here. We're gonna go ahead and kind of look at its board. It has 4 health, has 4 or 10, 4 horror, and 4 or 10 health as minor dark powers. Killer icon, all that stuff's like normal. It's dark board. I'm sorry, does that say 10 attack? Is that a... God, I wonder if that's a typo. We'll have to see there. 1 movement, and then look, its movement, that's weird. So it starts with 10 attack, and then it has 1 movement. And then as it goes up, it evolves and it only has 1 and then 5 movement. And then 1, 1, 1, 5, 5, 5. When it evolves the second time, it goes 2s and 3s up into 4s and 3s. Interesting. And it says pay 2 time and then discard the next terror card. Interesting. I definitely gotta see what this is all about. So we'll look at our instruction sheet. The cargo retrieval from Titan 6 was routine. Ore, mining, equipment, medical supplies for the outer rim, your basic boring as shit manifest. But something else is hiding in the cargo. We brought it on board. A thing, an animal, a creature. No, it was a goddamn monster, and I let it loose on my ship. Captain Arthur Houston of the USS Konrad. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, what do we have for special setups? We have place the evolving card next to the killer board. Place the evolution marker next to the hatchery state on the card. This is the form that the Evomorph begins as. Shuffle the Evomorphs and the chosen locations tarot cards together as normal, but only include 8 tarot cards in the deck rather than 10. Interesting. Shuffle the ambush cards and place them face down next to the tarot deck with the youngling side light green up and readable adult side will be face down. The Evomorph stage with only 4 health, but this may increase to 10 later. Okay, so we're going to have, we'll look at this in a little bit more. We'll have this evolution card, which will show which version we're at, hatchling, youngling, or adult. And you'll put that little green token next to it. We'll have the the deck that has ambush younglings face up like this, and then later we'll eventually turn it over. On the back side, they will have different effects depending on which version is face up. Cool. Special rules. The Evomorph has 3 stages. Starts as hatchling, but may evolve into youngling and then finally into adult. The word evolve is located on the special effects column of the Evomorph's bloodlust track. When bloodlust increases and you reach the evolve, move the evolution marker to the next stage, following a setup or special rules you can find there. Hatchling. As a hatchling, Evomorph is very slow but incredibly deadly and attacks you at its own peril. Bloodlust will only increase the hatchling kills the victim itself. Any other increases in your terror event cards of victims are dying out of the way, they're ignored. Instead, minus time for each one that occurs. Interesting. So, like, normally, anything else that kills someone, your bloodlust always goes up, but it only goes up if the hatchling kills it. Otherwise, they're not worried about it. Youngling. When the hatchling evolves a youngling, immediately it vanishes. The little lung symbol? This is discussed in the next section. Additionally, it may now increase as normal. Then on the bottom here, we have a youngling evolves to an adult. The Evomorph's maximum health goes from 4 to 10. Immediately recovers all health. Then reveals the Evomorph's dark power. Rotate the ambush deck so the adult side is up and readable. The youngling side will now be upside down. Cool. So it's kind of like you gotta fight multiple versions, but you know what's coming. Here we have vanishing and ambush cards. Whenever you see this icon, the Evomorph immediately disappears into the shadow and vanishes, ending its killer phase. Remove the killer meeple from the board and place it on top of the terror deck. When the Evomorph is vanished, you will ignore all steps to the killer phase, both killer action and finale, and drawing terror cards. Instead, you will draw an ambush card and follow the side of the corresponding Evomorph's card stage, youngling or adult. Each ambush card has a red danger number found in the upper right-hand corner from 1 to 10. There's a number for the youngling side of the card and a different number for the adult. The higher the number, the more dangerous the effect is. If the ambush deck ever runs out, discard or shuffle the discard pile and build a new deck. Okay, cool. Scanning. When playing against Evomorph, you have access to new scan action cards. It may only be used when playing the Evomorph has vanished. Resolving a stand, you may be instructed to place X tokens in your space. It indicates you have scanned the area and note the Evomorph isn't hiding your space. Certain ambush cards will have Evomorph appearing out of nowhere, often in your space, immediately attacking you. Stands a way to protect yourself from being ambushed. A space can only have 1 X token, but multiple spaces can have X tokens at the same time. If instructed to place an X token in a space where 1 is already present, ignore it. In the rare instance where you are instructed to place a token and there are none remaining, remove the farthest token and use it. So is standing closest proximity to you, essentially. Standing at additional horror success length when you get 3 or more successes on horror, while you ambush the Evomorph instead. Cool. Alright, so let's just start off by taking a look at those cards. So we have 3 copies of Stan. I'm going to drop this down a little bit more. So the Stan cards will use these X tokens here. So you have 6 of them. So there are obviously more than 6 locations, so you can't scan every location of the board. which says may only be resolved when the Evomorph has vanished. If you get 3 successes, place the Evomorph in your space, skip the next killer phase, and remove this card from the game. Just lets you surprise where it's at. Like, hey, you spotted it, and now you get basically a free attack on it. If you get 2, place an X in your space, minus horror. Get 1, place an X in your space, but minus time. If you get none, gain a horror, minus time, and end your turn. I got signals. I got readings in front and behind. It's kind of a neat way to protect yourself. So I'm guessing if there's an X in the spot, it can't ambush that spot. You've already scanned it, and you know it's not there. So that's kind of cool. Let's look at the evolution cards here. Or evolution card, I guess. So we'll have this little tracker here to keep an eye on. If you do have the miniatures, they have a miniature for each level. So that way you can easily tell which one's which. So you still want to use this tracker for the keeping track of what it does, but you can switch out the meeple for the correct miniature. So if you're a hatchling, only increase bloodlust if a hatchling kills a victim. If bloodlust will increase, otherwise do time instead. I like they put this on as I hate having to refer back to the rulebook for things like this. The youngling upon evolving vanishes now increases normally, and then the adult upon evolving max health is increased to 10, recovers all health, reveal the dark power. So basically, it's just explaining that stuff we read in the rules. Cool. Let's look at our finale and dark power cards first before we get to that ambush deck. Because they might reference ambushing. We'll just see what that does where. So, the finale power here is going to be target a victim, move, and attack. So this is me looking for the weak person. The Blitz of Death. Target either one, move, attack. Target either one again, move, and attack. Death in the Dark. Target one, move, attack, and then vanish. When drawing ambush cards, draw 1 card and choose the card with the highest danger. And then the Perfect Organism. Obviously a reference to aliens. Choose 1, double move, double attack. Cool. And then the Dark Power, so the bottom half. We have Acid Blood. When revealed, place the Evomorph in the closest space, do without an X, and remove all X's. Whenever you damage the Evomorph in your space, take 1 damage. Symbiotic Camouflage. When revealed, place the Evomorph in the closest space, do without an X, remove all X's. When drawing an ambush card, draw 1+1 and choose a card with the highest danger. Razor Claws. One place, reveal them, put them in the space closest to you. Whenever Evomorph damages you, randomly discard 1 action card. And then it's epic if you want to make it a little bit harder. Razor Tail. When revealed, place it in your space with the most victims without an X and kill every victim there. Whenever Evomorph attacks at least once, an additional attack each time in adjacent space. Oh boy, that's mean. Cool. So let's see what the cards here do for the youngling and adult. So we'll just look at 1 card at a time. So it says, you've discovered Shed Skin. Place an X in the closest space, do without an X. You know it's no longer there. And if we flip that over, there are no victims on the board. Discard and draw the next ambush card. Otherwise, place the Evomorph card with the victim first, without an X. Move all X's. Because now you know it's appeared, so having scan stuff doesn't matter. You're only scanning for where you can't see it. Target and then move. Target and then attack. Make a horror roll. On double success, place next in the closest space. No effect or bloodlust. As the adult, place the Evomorph in the closest space, do without an X, remove all X's, and it gains a horror. Just bloodlust goes up 1. Or place the Evomorph in the closest space without an X and remove all X's. Double bloodlust. Or place the closest space, do without an X. The finale has been revealed, trigger the killer action. If not, immediately draw the next terror card. Horror goes up and bloodlust. So obviously the hatchling's not going to do as much attacking. Place the Evomorph in the closest space without in attack, or the next, target the final girl, double attack. Horror and double bloodlust, which is just trying to get it to evolve, basically. Because it only needs to get to what? Level 1 to evolve into the... From the hatchling, it immediately evolves right up into a youngling. But it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 more to evolve up, so it should evolve fairly quickly. 2 horror and -2 time. Double horror, double bloodlust. Place the Evomorph in the closest space to you without next. Target the final girl and attack. Move the bloodlust marker up on the next track to space to evolve in the special effects column. Just auto move it. Nice. Make a horror roll. Double success. Place an X in the closest space. +1 time or gain a horror. Horror. Move the bloodlust marker to the next spec with the evolve. And then we'll flip it over. It'll just be horror. And then the last one we have is move the bloodlust to the evolve. Target 1 in attack or gain 2 time. Cool. So that's an interesting little mechanic, right? So it's going to start off at a lower level. It does 10 attack right away. So you don't want to fight it when it's a baby hatchling immediately. You want to wait till it becomes a youngling because it becomes weaker. Because a 10 attack will kill anybody. I don't think there's any final girl that has more than 10 in the game. And chances are you might be able to block it good, but yeah, then it's going to evolve up to the 1, and then only need 1, 2, 3, 4 again to evolve to the adult form, which then also gains a lot of health. So you have about 4 bloodlust or so before you really need to kill it. Otherwise, it's going to have 10 health and be a lot more deadly. Cool. Alright, let's look at our terror cards. We have 2 copies of It Came Out of the Shadows. If the Evomorph is a hatchling, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, target, move, double attack, and then it vanishes again. Oh god, where did it go? It's a hatchling, draw the next terror card. 3 horror, and it vanishes. 2 shadow blitzes. It's a hatchling, draw the next terror card. Vanish, immediately draw the next ambush card. Toying with a spray is a hatchling. Again, remember the hatchling's only the first level, then it becomes a youngling after that. So this is basically like, if the first card you draw, it's going to just automatically be like, get rid of it. It's going to look for something to up its bloodlust. Target final girl, move twice. Evomorph is in your space. During the next action roll 1 fewer dice for a minimum of 1, and then it vanishes. It's going to vanish a lot. Skullbuster, hatchling, draw the next terror card. Double the attack value. Target 1 in attack. If the victim is killed for each additional victim, need more space. Increase horror by 1 and vanishes. Acid Spray is a hatchling, draw its terror card. Final girl, move, attack. If Evomorph damages you, discard your random items. If you have no items, -2 health. We have 3 copies of Game Over, man. Game over. There's no victims on the board. Discard and draw the next terror card. Terror goes up. Target a victim. Move and attack. The Exoskeleton. Hit the black final health token from the reserve and place it on top of the Evomorph's current health token. It does not increase its health. Instead, when you reveal the final token, simultaneously reveal both. So it could either be a blank and something else, but it could be a 3 health and a 2 health, right? Crazy. Gain extra horror. Scratches in the dark. Final girl, move 3 times. For each space the Evomorph passes through, there continues 1 victim, including a starting ending space. Horror goes up 1. Doesn't even kill them, it just skitters by them. Our minor dark powers are Shadow Drag. Whenever you draw an ambush card with 2 or less danger, discard and draw another. Dead Silence, roll 1 fewer dice to a minimum of 1 when resolving a scan action. And Sideswipe, whenever Evomorph vanishes, perform the following killer actions before it disappears. Target and attack. yeah, so that's pretty cool. This is a neat mechanic for this killer. So yeah, what it's gonna do is it's gonna focus on doing this disappearing, and then using the ambush deck to pop out and do stuff. So it's gonna probably go back and forth, like draw a terror card, then draw an ambush card, then draw a terror card, then draw an ambush card. Because yeah, you know, all step to the killer phase. Instead of draw from an ambush card corresponding to the stage. And basically all the green one's trying to do is the youngling and hatchling are just trying to evolve to the adult. And then the adult will start doing all the killing. Alright, the last part of the killer side of the board is we have our final girls. So we're going to start with Ellen, who's of course a nod to Ellen Ripley from Aliens, who has 4 health. She has Resting, she has minus a horror, +2 times, take a search card, gain a health, and move 1 space. Yes, very just prepping ahead of time. Her ultimate ability is when successful resolving a search action, you may choose to freely look through all the location's unused item cards instead of the space's item deck. That's neat. So she basically has a better chance of getting whatever she needs versus looking through each deck. Now, it's not a guarantee because, again, if she's, example, looking for a flamethrower, and that's in one of the 3 locations, doesn't matter if she can look through all the other items. But she can also narrow it down. If you played the game, like the location enough, and you know what's in there, you know what to be looking for. Like, I need a shotgun, right? For example, and you look through all the item cards that are outside the game, okay, now you know it's not in there, so now you know you have to check one of the other locations. Cool. Then we have Jeanette, who has 7 health, but she only has 4 victims to save. Minus horror, move 1 space, take a search card, take any top item card. So she's going to just try and get some weapons. So she has, when you're considered having additional hand for the purpose of holding and using item cards, place 2 tracking markers on this card. When using item with limited uses, you may use one of these markers instead. Ooh, that's cool, and she gains extra health for saving extra victims. That's definitely neat. So she can basically have 3 hands worth of items, and she can use the extra items multiple times. That could be very helpful for stuff that has limited use. But again, that might depend on which, if an item's even available, because you could get no items that have anything like that. You know, in a game, it might not be in the deck. Or they just might not be as good as something else you could pick up, which is always a possibility as well. Alright, let's hop over to the location side of the game. Back the camera up a little bit so we can look at the board. Alright, so this is USS Konrad, so we have a spaceship here to go through. Oops. Yeah, so lots of connecting space. We have the junction here, which will lead us in any of the cardinal directions. We do have some purple rooms with gears on them. I'm guessing those are the maintenance rooms. So we have 5 of those. We have our storage, our armory, and our mess hall for item rooms. Escape pods all on the outside, but we have one that you can get through from 2 areas. And ones that don't have any, or are single connected. We also have these purple icons here with these rooms connected to them, so we'll have to see what that means. So some interesting stuff going on here. But what this also looks like it means is that if you're in the junction, you can go this way to these 2, go up to these 4, go this way to these 2, or go down into these ones. So you can't, once you get to one side of the board, you have to go back to the middle to go to one of the other areas. So that's gonna definitely be interesting based on certain killers. Alright, what do the rules have to say about this mode? Oops, my camera went too far down again. Get a better lock there. United Starship Konrad M-Class Freight Vessel Model 9791 Bison, commissioned in the 2122 by Noguchi Masaki Mining Corporation, built by the Lockheed Martin Corporation, and cost at $4.2 billion, the mass of 1,000 metric tons. Current whereabouts unknown. Interesting. Alright, what do we have for special setup? You'll start with 2 chip tokens. So we have 6 in the game, but we're going to start with 2 of them. Each step will indicate where to place them. Okay, cool. So place the super loader icon next to your player and place the token in the hangar. Okay, so we'll have the super loader icon and we will have the item card for it, which we'll get to when we get to the item cards. Place 1 key card item card in your inventory and place a token on it. Place the 2 item key cards next to your play area with the remaining tokens. Shuffle the remaining 3 key item cards to the rest of the item cards and build them as item deck as normal. Place the 3 maintenance cards next to your play area. So you gotta pull up these 3 key cards and do some special stuff with them. Key cards are useful as they can unlock new pathway or activate important ship functions. You start or end your turn in a movement space while not passing through that has a key token. You may spend time to take 1 token. Take 1 key card item that was set aside during placing your inventory and place the token on it. Whenever you take a item card, key card item card, either through searching or an event, always place the token on top of it. Whenever you use a key card by placing a token on top of the board or in a maintenance, explain below, always keep the empty key card item in your inventory. You cannot discard an empty key card item card. If the game instructs you to discard an item, random by choice, ignore it for that purpose. Once placed either on the board or the maintenance, you cannot receive any tokens unless the game effect instructs you to. It does not cost time to use a card or place it. Okay, so it costs you time to pick one up, but it doesn't cost you to place it. And then you always keep that key card out there for effects. So, what I want to do is we're going to jump ahead and look at these key cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. 1 for each of those items. And I say, place a token on this card when you take it. During action phase, you may place a token on a maintenance card in your current space has a gear, or on an adjacent maintenance shaft. Okay, so that's what they're all gonna say. And I'm guessing you keep these out so that way you know the key cards have been used, so you don't end up accidentally using another one. So we'll just set those off to the side. We won't re-go over them. Alright, what do we have for maintenance shafts? There are 4 maintenance shafts on the board, each with an empty keycard token connected to it. Neither you nor the victims can pass through the shaft as long as they're inactive. If they're adjacent or inactive maintenance shafts, you can place an available token on it to activate it, which will allow you to freely travel along any victim that follows. Important, enemies cannot move through maintenance shafts unless a specific card or effect allows them to. This makes sense. The alien or the Evomorph could probably crawl through them, but again, you're not going to see the intruders or Hans the Butcher crawling through the maintenance shafts probably. Maintenance cards. There are 4 spaces on a ship highlighted with purple and denoted by the gear icon. There's a trash compactor, furnace, hangar, and brake. A special function can be activated in each of these rooms, indicated by the 3 maintenance cards: the crusher, the incinerator, the airlock, and the self-destruct, respectively. In order to activate a function, you must be in the maintenance space and not passing through it. The corresponding function you want to activate. For example, to activate the incinerator, you need to be at the furnace. Placing up key tokens to activate each function requires a different number of key cards. Then follow the instructions that functions. Both the airlock and the self-destruct may allow you to kill yourself while not the killer. If that happens, you lose the game. Even if the killer dies along with you, no victory for self-inflicted destruction. If any game effect instructs you to remove tokens, the maintenance cards after you've already activated a function, these functions are immediately cancelled to remove any of the tokens associated with them. So, for example, Ellen had 4 key cards. After break, she places them on the maintenance after self-destruct. Then she places a token on the card. She now is just currently next one to get the escape pod before the ship explodes. Interesting. So let's take a look at those really quick. So we have 3 of these. So we have the airlock. Cards fell way down there. Alright. So he says, airlock says, activate after hangar. Once activated, place the airlock container there. Token in the hangar during the action phase. Well, in the hangar or in a adjacent space, you may discard and open the airlock, instantly killing everyone in the hangar. If present, the super loader is lost. Interesting. Okay, cool. If the killer dies, you're with their final health token. If they come back to life, place them at the junction as they manage to grab onto the ship and crawl back inside. If you're in the hangar when the airlock is open, I roll 5 or 6, you manage to survive. Otherwise, you lose the game. You do not flip over your final health token. This is definitely an interesting way to, like, take out guys. Now, I'm sure there's going to be, like, special rules depending on how there's some, like, final rules, like, I think, like, Geppetto says, like, if he has minions out, his puppets out, you can't kill him unless you take out all his puppets. I'm imagining if you shoot him out in an airlock, that rule would just be ignored thematically. Something like that. We have self-destruct, activate at the bridge. Once activated, place the hazard token. On the start of the countdown track, during the upkeep, move the token 1 space to the right. When it reaches the explosion, the ship self-destructs, killing everything. If you are not in an exit space, you lose the game. Crazy. So, where is the bridge? In conjunction with the... Okay. So there's the bridge. So to get to an escape pod, if you have not activated the maintenance thing, you could go 1, 2 and get there. Very easy to escape if you haven't. Or again, this one, you can go 1, 2 to get to that one. Otherwise, you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to at least move 5. That'd be very tricky to be able to do. And you have 2 turns. It's definitely possible. But again, what's in your way? What do you roll? Do you have cards ready? Very interesting. Alright, then the last one we have is the Crusher or the Incinerator. So, Crusher is like a trash compactor. Whenever an enemy or victim ends its movement at the trash compactor, deal damage. It does not affect you or victims following you. So if people are following you, they're smart enough to stay out of the way. You're like, hey, stay to this side. But if they're by themselves, they're idiots and they walk into the actual Crusher. Incinerator, whenever an enemy or victim enters the furnace, roll a die and do the following. 1, you get 3 damage. 2 to 3 does 2 damage. 4 to 5 does 1 damage. 6 is no effect. Does not affect you or victims following. Again, because you're telling them to stay away, but if they're just wandering around by themselves, they're going to wander into the incinerator. So it's also interesting here to note is with the way this works is you only have 6 tokens and you have to find these key cards by picking them up or getting them in the item decks and stuff. And then you can only place so many of these, so if you start placing all of these, then you're not going to have enough to do all the air shafts. There's only 4 air shafts in the game, or maintenance shafts. But yeah, so if you're placing them on there, you might not have enough to do some of these cards. You kind of have to is it better to try and get a way to do this, or I save them up for that? And I'm sure there's going to be other things that are going to affect them as well. Awesome. Alright, then we have the Super Order. Even though the Super Order starts on the hangar board, you only use it if you find the Super Order key item card. If you ever unequip the Super Order, lose the key, leave the token on current space, return a Super Order card to its starting space beside the board. In other words, you can't put the Super Order in your backpack. Which makes sense. Alright, so let's look at some of our other cards. We have our setup cards here. So here it's going to show Space Rave. So yeah, we start with some of them tokens out. So it does say, yeah, you start with 2. So there are 6 tokens. You're going to start with 2 of them. 2 of them on the board. 1 key item card in your inventory and place 1 token on it. So there's the 3rd one. Place the 2 key item cards next to your player with the remaining tokens. Shuffle the remaining item key cards into the rest of the item cards. Okay, so you take the 2 out for the 2 on the board here, and then you shuffle the other 3. So they'll always be in there no matter what. So you're not like randomly like, oh crap, I started the game, I only had 2 key cards available. Yeah, here's the space rave. Everyone's kind of mixed around. We have Born in Flames. Interesting. Bloody Feast. Oh, he starts in a space with a guy. Oh, that's a key card. Starts in a space with a guy. I thought the killer started there. That'd be crazy. The Showdown. Duality of the board. And then Junction Danger. Interesting. Alright, what are our events? I always love the event cards. These are some of my favorite cards in the game. Cramped escape pods. No way I'm sharing a pod with Karen. There's more than one victim in a space. You cannot save victims in that space. Weapons locker. We got bombs, we got blades, we got pointy things. Pointy stick things. Look through the unused item and place any weapons in the armory's item deck. Either face up on the top or face down underneath. Cool. Good cooking. Every meal is a feast. Wherever you enter the action in the mess hall, recover health. Emergency override, authorization, 9 or 1/1. Incinerator, airlock, and self-destructions all require 1 less to activate. Ooh, that's helpful. Cluttered shafts. I think I can squeeze through. While moving, you may move through inactive maintenance shafts at a cost of -1 health. Victims cannot follow you if you move in this manner. The captain. His name is Houston, like the city. Place a special victim meeple on the bridge. This is a captain. Attack the bridge costs 1 less key card. To activate the self-destruct, the captain dies +2 bloodlust. Jonas the cat. Oh, there's a kitty cat. Jonas, you little shithead. Place a spectral victim equal to the victim that is furthest from you. This is Jonas. Jonas will not follow you. During the upkeep phase, panic Jonas 3 times. If you're in an action phase in the same space as Jonas, you may choose one of the following: -horror +3 times. That's funny. And then the orphan girl. My mommy told me there was no real monsters, but she was wrong. She was wrong. The victim close to you is now the orphan girl. While you're orphan girl in your space, +1 victims will follow you, and you may freely move through the inactive maintenance shafts. The orphan girl dies +3 horror. Master access. It looks like Christmas came early. If any of the top item cards in each deck are face down, from face up. If any key cards are showing, take any key cards are showing. And the last one we have is faulty wiring. Damn it! I told me to get those wires fixed. During upkeep phase, roll 1 die for the furnace and 1 for the trash compactor. 1 to 2, everyone at the space receives 1 damage. 3 to 6, no effect. Cool. Alright, then we have our item cards. We already looked at the key cards, so we're not going to go back over those. We have the remote beacon, which is our token there. Little triangle pyramid. It broadcasts human heart register, smells, and sounds. Spend 2 time to place a beacon token on any space up to 3 spaces from you. Whenever the killer must choose a target, they will choose a beacon instead. Discard a beacon when the killer enters the space where it's located. Cool, like a trap. The super loader key. I am rated at a class 3 for this puppy. If you're in the same space as a super loader, you may take the equipped super item loader item card. And we got that one there. Very familiar if you know the Alien movies. Let's dance, bitch. 0 range, but does 2 damage. Whenever you have a super equipped, the victims do not follow you. Reduce all movement by 1 to a minimum of 1. Reduce all damage to a minimum of 1. By 1 to a minimum of 1. And you cannot play short, long rest, or search cards. The motion tracker. Something's coming. Are they in the walls? +1 horror die when resolving a scan. Whenever an enemy enters a space, you may discard motion tracker to immediately move to an adjacent space. Any remaining enemy movement is lost. Remote monitoring. When one door shuts, another one opens. Once per action phase, you may look at the top card of the terror ambush deck, leave it alone, or place it at the bottom of the deck. The mysterious pill is that they gave us a pill for everything. Discards during the action phase, choose one of the following: -1 horror or +2 health. The Vibro Claw. Now I'm playing with power. Oh, Nintendo Power Glove reference. Whenever you successfully reduce damage from an attack with a reaction, deal +1 damage to your attacker. The good old energy drink. Because space is exhausting. During this action, you discard during this action and choose one of the following: +3 time or move 1 space. Some thermal goggles. Let's hope that fucker's warm-blooded. Discard to ignore an ambush and then draw another card. Whenever an enemy enters your space, you may discard any 2 action cards, taking an available guard reaction card into your hand. Ship's Manifest. Computer. What in the... Well, at the item spot, discard Ship's Manifest to look through the ship's item deck. Place cards in any order you wish, moving the top card face up. Emergency Access. This will only work once or twice. Move an adjacent space through an inactive mine shaft. Personal Beacon. I'm right here. Come and get me. Once per active phase, you may trigger the following killer action. Target and then move. Neat. Remote Access. There. That should do it. During the action phase, you may move any key cards on the board to another maintenance shaft or maintenance card. Cool. So that way you can kind of play around with how those work. And then lastly, we have the Flamethrower. There isn't much that fire can't solve. 0 to 1 range, does 3 damage, has 2 uses. All damage must be distributed evenly between victims, enemies, and you in that order. In the space that is attacked. So if there's... So that's interesting, because if there's just the enemy, so you do 3 damage to them. But if there's enemy and victims, then it's going to hit the victim first, then the enemy. And if there happen to be all 3 of you in there, it could damage you as well. Cool. One thing to also just want to note, so we had Jeanette, who got extra uses for items. So the Flamethrower would probably be great, but we have the Remote Access would be kind of neat. She gets 2 extra uses for that. 2 extra uses on that. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of other... There's nothing else in here that has multiple uses. So it's the Flamethrower, the Access card, and the Maintenance Shaft. So she's not getting a ton of weapons in here that have extra uses for this particular mode. So that is interesting to note. Alright, then we have our terror cards. Catastrophic Hull Breach. So we have the skull or doom icon. Target 1, move and attack. The furthest edges from you has a hull breach. Place the skull token there. Any victims, enemies, and you that are in their space are instantly killed. If the killer dies this way, reveals by a health token. Come back to life, place in a junction, draw an event card. So there are like 3 insta-kill ways now. There's hull breach, there's an airlock, and then there's technically blowing up the ship. There are 2 other ways to just do a bunch of extra damage to guys. So this is a really interesting map. Garbage Day. All victims in the trash compactor panic. Everyone to trash compactor receives a damage. Target 1, move, and attack. Incinerator malfunction. All victims adjacent to the furnace panic. Roll a die for everyone at the furnace. Either -2 health, -1, no effect, or move 1 space in any direction. Target, move, and attack. System reboot. Take all tokens on the board and return them to their key cards. At least 1 key card is returned. Double horror and event. That would suck, like you're planning, like self-destructing, like you're almost to the exit. You're just, oh, I got 1 more turn, and then you draw that card. A gas leak. Roll a die to determine which maintenance shaft leaks toxic. Upper left and right, lower left and right, upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right. Everyone in the space adjacent is affected to the maintenance shaft receives -1 damage. Interesting. Solar interference. Remove all key cards from the board and maintenance card. Then roll a die for each key card and place it in the follows: upper left maintenance shaft, crusher, upper right maintenance shaft, lower right maintenance shaft, and center lower left maintenance shaft. Target, move, and attack. Interesting. Let's test the maintenance shaft. For this turn, let all enemies can freely move through any maintenance shafts. Target double move and attack. For each enemy that's moved through the maintenance shaft this turn, does whole extra horror. And then they have one minor dark power. Slippery. The killer can freely move through all maintenance shafts. This is interesting. You don't often get minor dark powers in the location deck. That's always a fun little twist on it. Alright, so that's what we have for these two. We still have to look at the spoiler cards. But just kind of review what some of this is. So the location's really neat because you're going to have, like, alternate ways to either damage or kill the enemies. Which, again, with depending on what killer you're playing, can make some very interesting things. But yeah, it's a unique way to do it. Plus, the fact is, for the most part, you have to keep going back to the center. So unless you start placing them key cards down, but then every time you place them, you use those extra shafts so you can get through quicker. You can't bring victims with you, but you're also then limiting what you can do for the other areas as well. So it's kind of an interesting, like, do I need to move around more, or do I want to set up these traps? And then the killer's really neat as well, with the whole evolving to get even more deadly as time goes on, plus the vanish mechanics. Now, you know, it's like Alien, you know, meets Predator, which would be neat. Like, they made a, obviously, they made, like, maybe another series, they made a Predator version of this. You could use that vanish mechanic again. I know generally they haven't tried to, like, redo the same type of thing, but it would be the same idea. They just have a way to vanish off the board and then be able to pop up somewhere else and just attack. They wouldn't have the evolve mechanic, but that would be interesting as well. Cool. Alright, so then we have our two mystery item cards for Jeanette and Ellen. So these are only supposed to be played if you actually beat the game with one of them. Then you reveal these and you get to use these from now on. So these are spoilers. If you don't want to know what these are, I will tell you, hey, thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit me up in the comments if you guys see more. So you can go ahead and leave the video now. That way you don't have to see these spoilers. Otherwise, we're going to go through these. So how do these item cards work? If you've defeated the final game of the final girl, you get to add a card like Ellen's Flamethrower into the deck. Now, you can just shuffle it normally into the deck. However, but then when you draw your 12 item cards for the game, you might not have it. Or you can opt, if you need, it says down here, if you have 12 item cards, take out 11 of them, shuffle this in there, so now you have that as your card. Now you're guaranteed they'll be in one of the three decks. So that's definitely you can do it. Now, per the way the rules work, it's only supposed to be used if you're playing as Ellen. But again, these are your games. You guys can do whatever you want. So you could add this with any other final girl. See if it works differently. Might work better or worse for other characters. Alternatively, you could add multiple of these in every game. Take like 5, 6 of them, just make an item deck with a bunch of like replace each weapon with a different weapon or item with a different final girl's ability. Should generally make the game easier for you. So if you are finding it hard, this might be a way to artificially make the game a little bit easier without changing other rules. So one of my favorite things about this is these are basically upgraded versions of the game. So Ellen's Flamethrower is, I've named it Hellbringer. 0 to 1, does 3 damage, has 2 things. All damage may be distributed as you wish to enemies that are in that space or attacks. So basically she's learned how to use the flamethrower, and she no longer attacks herself or victims. Otherwise, it's the same thing. But again, this is for Ellen. Now, if you're using it with Jeanette, she could definitely make even better use of this because she'd have that ultimate ability to be able to add more. So we have Jeanette's Scanner. So this will be interesting. So there you are. Come to Mama. So where's the scanner in here? So the scanner, this was the motion tracker. I love they changed the art on these two. Sweet color. It's simple as doing that, right? Makes it a little bit more unique. When you are on an item spot, you may reveal all the cards in that item's deck. You may choose which item to take while searching. So again, this isn't going to be as helpful for like doing damage or anything, but just to get you the item you need when you need it. And then again, combining it with her ability to already look through a whole additional items. that's going to definitely make that better. It's also kind of funny because with Ellen, on the other hand, you have her search guide can let you look through the unused piles. If you had her using Jeanette's scanner, right, she could then also look through all the item decks. Now she could see, oh, if the item I need is not outside the game, she can instantly look through all them in there and not have to keep playing search cards. So it's kind of funny that if you swap their 2 cards, they would even be as effective with the other player as well. It's just kind of a neat little note there. So they're definitely cool. Alright, that is what we have for this video of Final Girl. Again, thank you guys for watching. Hit me up in the comments. Check out the rest of the videos. See you guys later. Bye.